Expected to give yesterday's Cox Plate a big shake, but he was expected to do it with the 4-year-old Alpha, which was the subject of quite a plunge. Instead, it was the roughie of the field, Dane Ripper, also trained by the Cup's king, that claimed the $1.5 million first prize.
Moody Valley is a tight, savage, emotional type. She knows how to play up a drama, and that's exactly what the Valley produced in the Great Western Stakes. Senti Lassie dramatically plunging into the fence, New Zealand's best jockey, Lance O'Sullivan, breaking a leg. He missed the Cox Plate on Vianney. Damien Oliver urged the crowd to support the unwanted outsider, Dane Ripper, but Jugglers trainer Gay Waterhouse wanted to paint the town red. The Jack Denham-trained Falonte, a hot favourite.
1997 under Strata's orders, off they go, and the roar from the crowd almost lifted the roof off the stand when they bounded out of the barrier. Tarnpur Lane is in front early, and he's going...
On the bend, Falonte charged into calculations, and for a while the favourite was cruising, but then a needle-eye opening.
Falonte just in front, encounter, trying to get to him. Dane Ripper getting the rails run. Further out is Viali. It's Dane Ripper, the bolter, the despised outsider. Dane Ripper got right along the fence and came away to win the BMW Cox Plate in a boil-over.
Jockey Damien Oliver had won them all, Melbourne Cups, Caulfield Cups, but this time he was a little overawed.
Now you've won the mighty treble, Dame.
Oh, mate, it's
Whoops, it's brilliant, Dame.
Yesterday saw an impressive win for Dutch cyclist John van den Akker.
Cummings sprang the surprise of the spring yesterday. Dane Ripper winning the Championship of Australia, the weight for age WS Cox Plate. Jim Cassidy was second on Falonte after that terrific win last week in the Caulfield Cup on Might and Power. Jim joins Max Presnell and Keith Hillier in Melbourne this morning. Welcome, gentlemen. Jim, not quite so bubbly today, but it was a great run.
Yeah, terrific run, Bruce. He was gallant in defeat, and when I looked at the replay again, Dane Ripper was looking for somewhere to go after she straightened up, and Damien obviously had a lap full of horse.
I wonder if your brother Larry had something to do with your defeat, Jim.
Yeah, I thought Larry might have gone a little bit early, but that was his decision, and it really put the pressure on myself and Shane to track forward into the race. And, gee, my bloke fought back good. I thought it was a mighty run for Falonte.
Jim, Larry had to go. The tactics of the race, he couldn't stay back there in a slowly run race. He had to go. Falonte had his chance, Encounter had his chance. It was just the luck of the race that gave it to Dane Ripper, but I can't see how Larry would have benefited his mount had he stayed back there at the dawdling tempo that'd gone early.
Yeah, exactly. No, I certainly agree with you, Max. It was it's a pressure race, and you've got to have the initiative to go forward and do what he done. So good luck with that.
And that was what won the race, I think, for Damien Oliver. He wasn't under any pressure. He didn't have to get involved in the melee at the 800 metres. He sat back and watched and no doubt laughed.
Well, he spoke of pressure after the race, and while he didn't say it, he virtually inferred it that you perhaps and some of your riding colleagues might have wilted under the pressure, Jim.
Oh, no, I didn't wilt under the pressure. I was happy that, you know, they brought the race to me. I would have rather been exactly where I was than having to be back using the 59 and chasing the 3-year-olds with the 49.5 or 48.5.
All glory to Bart, I think, Bruce.
Yeah, and let's talk about the filly just for a moment, or the mare. She created a bit of history again yesterday, but she won the Stradbroke as a 3-year-old filly, and she's won the Cox Plate as a 4-year-old mare. This might be something special. We might be underestimating Dane Ripper.
I think it was a fluke yesterday. I think.
Gee, I don't know about that, Keith.
I think it was one of those races that...
Tell us what you really mean.
Yeah, well, I reckon Dane Ripper fluked it.
Do you?
I think it was one of those races that everything went right for her, that the Big O, the new Big O, Ollie, Damien rode a fantastic race. The only magic in the race was the word Ollie dropped in the back-to-scale interview.
We've already played that today on Sports. We're not going to repeat that.
And Bruce, you've got to take into consideration she is a good mare. I think both of you are half right. She did have the breaks to win, but she also had the ability to take the breaks when they came.
Yeah,
one other point, if I may. Bart, after the race, pointed out that this mare is bigger than Falonte, stronger than Falonte, and was in receipt of 4.5 kilos from Falonte.
Yeah, look, she's a really impressive-looking horse. Before we go into the replay, the other thing I want to ask Jim, Oliver was brilliant in the straight when he went back to the rail. He's done this on Marble Halls a couple of times this year. He seems to be making this his trademark at the moment. Is that difficult for a jockey? Big horse, a lot of power, going fast, to switch?
No, not really, Bruce, especially when you've got a lap full of horse. As I said, when I looked at the replay again, I was very surprised that how easy she was travelling when he did straighten. And he had two options, either go back the fence or wait another 30 or 40 yards for either Falante to roll back to the fence and Encounter roll out. Either way, he was going to win the race, and just a great ride.
OK, let's go to the WS Cox Plate. It is the Championship of Australian Racing. We picked them up as a leave the straight the first time.
Tarn Purlane outside, Falante going out of the straight. No pace at the moment, Tarn Purlane fighting with the rider. He'll go to the lead by a length to Falante, easing back, and third on the outside Encounter. Alpha is fourth, Dane Ripper on the outside, fifth, two further back by Ali. Then Juggler followed by Schubert, and last of all is Moss Downs at the 1450-metre mark, and Eads has Tarn Purlane in front. In the Cox Plate by 2 lengths. Falante right where I'd say Cassidy wants him running second. 2 lengths behind Falante Encounter. Then came Alpha, is over on the inside, fourth, there followed by Dane Ripper running fifth. A length further back in the race, then Juggler on the outside of it by Ali, then Moss Downs and Schubert last of all. They haven't gone hard as they go to the 1150 in the Cox Plate, and the leader is Tarn Purlane. 2 lengths Falante, 1.5 further back Encounter, 2 to Alpha running fourth, a half Dane Ripper fifth, then Juggler on the outside of it by Ali, and the last two, Schubert the first one to make a move. He's taking off from the back now, Schubert at the 900-metre mark. Moss Downs is last of all. The leader is Tarn Purlane at the 800. 3/4 in front, he's well off the fence. Outside in Falante. A length further back Encounter. Schubert going up on the outside, followed by Alpha and Dane Ripper as Falante pulls his way to the lead. Falante went to the front from Encounter and Schubert. Tarn Purlane under pressure. Alpha goes back to the inside. It's right on at the 600-metre mark. Falante, Schubert and Encounter. Back on the inside, Alpha tried to squeeze through. Then Dane Ripper followed by Viali. It's Falante fighting back a neck in front of Encounter and Schubert when they turn. Behind them, Dane Ripper, then Alpha, and further out by Ali. Falante, the leader on the turn, a neck in front. On the outside, Encounter, followed down the outside by Viali, and Dane Ripper back to the rail. Falante, the leader, Dane Ripper getting up on the inside. Dane Ripper, the mare, a boil over in the Cox Plate. Dane Ripper wins nearly a length on the line. 2 Falante, third in a photo is Viali.
Yeah, great ride by Oliver, great finish. Encounter probably unlucky not to run third when you look at the replay. Jim, you seem to just roll out a bit on Falante, and Dye had to stop riding about 30 metres from home.
Yeah, I think once Damien poked up inside Falante, he just sort of wanted to get away from him a little bit, and probably a little bit tired the last bit. So, you know, great ride, Damien. He took the punt to come back to the inside, and that's what makes great jockeys, and he's certainly that.
Bart Cummings has won 236 Group 1 races. I think this is probably his greatest training feat. This mare had never raced in Victoria, she'd never raced at the distance, and she'd never raced at weight for age. How could she win?
Just another little chapter in one of the most remarkable stories. Yes, Max?
It was quite spectacular in its mediocrity, the Cox Plate yesterday.
Yeah, look, I don't agree completely with you. I think the field, on paper, looked below average. And now that Dane Ripper's won at 40 to 1, it won't be seen as a memorable one. I think you've made a point. Look, Damien Oliver will remember it, though. This is what he said to Keith afterwards.
Did the boys compound to that pressure, and did you have the last shot because of that?
It's easy for me to say yes, but not really. You know, it's a Cox Plate. You know, you've seen them take off early in these races before, and it is a race of tactics. And I was afforded the luxury of being under no pressure and on an outsider, and I could let them do what they wanted.
And your first Cox Plate, the thrill of it?
Absolutely. Insane, Keith. Unbelievable.
Insane, Keith. Unbelievable. And Bart, Keith, we're just going to play a bit about Bart, and just your thoughts, particularly whether you think or not he was planning this for ages with Dane Ripper. Here's what he had to say after the race.
3 or 4 months ago, I thought she'd win a mile and a quarter, and I thought this track would be the right track for her. She jarred up very badly on a very concrete-type hard track at Randwick in the Epsom. So this was the right track to do it. I brought her down here and worked her. Didn't race her prior to this. Brought her here on this track. She's very yielding for horses of her heavy shoulder type horse.
So what's racing history going to tell us, Keith, that Bart made the move on Tuesday, or he planned it all along?
Well, Bart's telling us that he did that, but he turned 70 this week. He's a wily master of his craft, and he's also a master of making the best of an opportunity. I think he made the decision on Tuesday, Bruce.
Look, aren't you missing the point? Didn't the track rider Joe Agresta tell him to make the decision, tell him that she should have been running in the Cox Plate, not the Waterford Crystal Mile today?
Well, that's Joe's story, I think, too. I think they're both claiming it. Look, we are almost out of time. Might and Power, he's favourite for the Cup, Jim. Tell us all about him. I think he's 7 to 2 from Centre Bet this morning.
Yeah, look, he's done very well, Bruce. He looks magnificent. I'll be down there this week to keep an eye on what's happening, and I couldn't be more happy with him. He's done well, he's eating well, and he's certainly working well.
I just want to ask Jimmy whether he'll win the Moonee Valley or the Grosby Gold Cup today on linesman.
Larry's riding it, mate. I'm going out to win the Waterford Crystal on King Ivor.
Linesman's the one, isn't he? If he wins today, he might even shorten up for the Melbourne Cup. He's 7-1 at the moment with Doremus.
We'll need a tow truck to beat Might and Power on the Melbourne Cup.
Hey, and I've got to admit to one thing, I'm a bad judge. 11-8 for Lonte, 9-2 in Canton, and I kept, well, 4-1, I kept screaming it'd be favourite. I'm a mug once again, Max.
I wouldn't say
that, Bruce.
Gentlemen, I'm going to join you. I'm going to join you all in Melbourne next week. We're doing the show from Lee Friedman's stables. I'll join you there.
Look forward to it.
Good on you. Max Presnell with Keith Hillier and Jim Cassidy. We're going to take a break. We're going to talk to the winner of the World Cup Triathlon after this.